I was talking to a young musician today who actually happened to be at the premiere of your piano concerto in Philadelphia,
Oh,
and I said, "Do you want me to ask him anything?" And she said, "Yes, I want to know, what are his key influences as a composer and a musician."
well, it changes over time. But I think one of the first pieces I ever heard for orchestra was by George Gershwin.
Mm,
And, you know, I just hadn't, I was just hearing a fair amount of big band music that my dad would play, and then hearing, like whatever kids listened to in the 90s growing up. Hearing Gershwin, it was like hearing these two kind of worlds come together. And I really love the uh, the way that Gershwin bumps up both ends of the equation, from jazz to the classical, and combines them in this way that's immediately accessible, also has this elegance to it, and in like Porgy and Bess, it can kind of go to incredible depths. But more recently, certainly there's some amazing living composers that I love, from Anna Klein to Missy Mazzoli to, of course, John Adams is a friend out here. My mentor John Corigliano, incredible at integrating different worlds. Outside of that space, I've always had a strong interest in bluegrass. I mentioned it with the guitar. It is this genre of music that has this absurd level of virtuosity. Um,
yes.
you know what I mean? It's in like, I mean, say what you will about indie rock. It's not virtuosic. It's just dudes
Right.
singing about sometimes rather small issues. Um, but man, there's no virtuosity there. So it doesn't have to be virtuosic in every kind of music. Like, I love choral music. It's not always virtuosic, but man, bluegrass is. And
Yeah.
the last thing I would mention is some of the great electronic artists, from Kraftwerk to Mouse on Mars, their heirs in Germany, to Richie Houghton, Carl Craig, some of these amazing electronic artists who just create this kind of craveable sound world. I think that's just really powerful, and I think that we in the world of opera, we in the world of the orchestra, we can consume all of this and have it be manifest in some way, because look at the history of our fields. I mean, they've evolved through so many spaces. So I think all these influences can be available to us in the concert hall and the opera house. And so I'm kind of omnivorous about it.
I love it. Me too. I was just, you were talking about bluegrass, and I love bluegrass. I went to college in a small town in Winfield, Kansas, where they have the Walnut Valley Bluegrass Festival, which is actually where the National Flat Picking Championship is.
Oh,
And I was a music
wow.
student, and I would go to this festival, and it was just incredible because you would see these musicians who, five people on stage, who would all go around and play every instrument on stage, you know, guitar, banjo, dulcimer, hammered dulcimer, all of these things, virtuosically, and sing 5-part harmony at the same time. I mean, it was absolutely, it was incredibly humbling to hear these musicians
Yeah.
work.
That's
It's
a
such a
great
high
part of
level.
American culture that I wish was more prevalent. I mean, it's it's still absolutely prevalent in certain pockets. Um, I feel like these days, and I'm just getting off a tangent, but there's so many kids that play a lot of different sports, and that's the virtuosity. It's just cool. But like, man, I wish we had a little bit more of that musical virtuosity of Appalachia, or frankly, some Jewish cultures, or even now some of the Asian cultures, where it's just what you do. You're definitely going to play several instruments. That's cool. So we got to talk about that more in Austin over beer.
Yeah, let's do it. And I also, you have a standing invitation. I live in Raleigh, North Carolina, when I'm not
Oh,
in Austin, and we have the International Bluegrass Festival there now. So anyway, you have a standing invitation to
cool.
come to Raleigh and hear a lot of great bluegrass over a weekend.